I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. I want to talk about how Judge Aileen Cannon appears to have miscalculated in her scheme to try to cause delay for Donald Trump by incrementally moving the deadlines and staying her prior orders and not adjudicating things like the protective order, which Special Counsel Jack Smith submitted months ago, and it took her a really long time to enter the order. It is backfiring in her face based on what is occurring in the other proceedings, specifically in Fulton County, Georgia, and in Washington, D.C. Right in Fulton County, Georgia, we now have plea agreements entered by the two co-defendants of Donald Trump, Sidney Powell and Ken Chesebro, both who were Donald Trump's lawyers, although Sidney Powell claimed that she may not have been his lawyer. Ken Chesebro obviously was Donald Trump's lawyer. They were both Donald Trump's lawyer, but they both entered guilty pleas, agreed to testify against Donald Trump, and the trial that was supposed to take place with jury selection on Friday in Fulton County, Georgia, is no more. And so now attention is going to be focused on when are we going to set the trial for Donald Trump and the other co-defendants in Fulton County, Georgia. And now that some of the co-defendants have pled guilty, a total of 3 have pled guilty, I'm going to guess with some educated precision here that other co-defendants are going to start taking guilty pleas and agree to testify against Donald Trump to get leniency. So why am I talking about this in the context of Judge Aileen Cannon? Because a trial date has not been set for the criminal RICO case against Donald Trump in Fulton County, Georgia. And now, based on Judge Aileen Cannon's conduct in causing all of this delay and confusion in her docket, what appears is going to happen is that the trial date in the Mar-A-Lago case, which is scheduled for May of 2024, I think is going to get moved. But Judge Aileen Cannon doesn't really know what to do right now, because I think she recognizes that because of her incompetence matching her corruption, it's allowed the other federal case in Washington, D.C. for Donald Trump's attempt to overthrow the results of the 2020 election. That case, Judge Chutkan was able to set that in March of 2024 because Cannon set her case for May of 2024. So Judge Chutkan got into first position. Judge Cannon found herself in second position. And now as Judge Cannon has tried to incrementally move these deadlines, thinking that would be helpful for Donald Trump, she's kind of stuck, Cannon, because she knows if she moves, and this is why she's doing what she's doing, and I'll show you how insidious what she's trying to do is. I think she realizes if she moves the trial date, what's going to slide right in the summer of 2024? It's the Georgia criminal RICO case. And then you would have Washington, D.C., federal criminal case prosecuted by Special Counsel Jack Smith in March. Come hell or high water, that case is going to trial in March for Trump's attempt to overthrow the 2020 election. And then potentially April or May, if Judge Cannon's trial in the Southern District of Florida gets moved, I could see Judge McAfee, the state court judge in Georgia, setting the criminal RICO case for that time period. And Donald Trump's going to be kicking and screaming, but I could imagine a scenario where that now takes place based on the plea agreements in the cases that were supposed to go to trial pursuant to the Speedy Trial Act in Georgia, and specifically based on the terms of Fulton County, Georgia. It's supposed to be a 6-month trial with Sidney Powell and Ken Chesebro. And that's done now. So now the focus is just on Trump and the remaining co-defendants. And as I said, a lot of them, I think, are going to start pleading guilty. So watch what Judge Cannon did here, right? So Donald Trump tried to bring these motions first to delay certain deadlines, like SEPA deadlines, Classified Information Procedure Act deadlines, SEPA Section 4 submissions by the government, which is routine SEPA stuff, where the government would submit documents ex parte in camera, meaning just to the judge without the other side participating in it. To withhold certain classified documents for discovery, you would usually summarize what the classified document is instead of actually producing the classified document to opposing counsel, so that you have to balance the discovery obligations with the national security interests. And that's exactly what SEPA Section 4 is about, but you have to submit it to the judge. So Donald Trump objected to the SEPA Section 4 deadline, but it seemed like in his motion he was really objecting to all of the relevant dates and deadlines, which Jack Smith pointed out in the opposition. Then in Donald Trump's reply brief, he basically said, yeah, I actually want all the deadlines to be moved. And then Judge Cannon stayed all of the deadlines kind of indefinitely, and we were all thinking here at MeidasTouch, okay, so what's going on? Judge Cannon, when are you going to set deadlines for hearings and discovery? You are now cannibalizing your own scheduling order without any indication of what is going on here. And here it is right here: paperless notice scheduling hearing on pending scheduled motions for November 1, 2023 at 1 p.m. in the Fort Pierce Division. Defense counsel and attorneys for the Office of Special Counsel must be present. The October 2023 deadlines set forth in the court scheduling order are temporarily stayed pending the hearing and further court order. So she's just setting a deadline now, a hearing on November 1, to now rule on moving potential deadlines. So just, another 10 days from when this order is issued, or 11 days from when this order is issued, is going to pass before she has the hearing. And then she's probably going to take her time to respond in an order. So that'll take time. And then she's probably going to move a lot of the dates and deadlines back and move them back. Now, the problem she has, and where I'm saying this is backfiring in her face, though, is that now she's thinking, well, Trump tried to get me to move the dates, but if I move them back too far, is that going to allow the Fulton County District Attorney case to slip in? And I think it does. So she's a little confused on what to do. That's why you're seeing all of this kind of chaos taking place on her docket. Now, one of the things she also did, again, very insidious, Special Counsel Jack Smith submitted the appropriate protective orders for the court to sign off on right away. The regular protective order and the SEPA Section 3 protective order, Classified Information Procedures Act, which encompasses a lot of other SEPA rules, including SEPA Section 4, where the documents can be viewed, how classified documents have to be handled. And it took Judge Cannon like 3 months to even approve the SEPA protective order, which then allowed Donald Trump to whine, I thought I was going to have all of the documents sent to me immediately, and Special Counsel Jack Smith has not turned over the documents. And Jack Smith's like, what are you talking about? I turned them over as soon as the judge signed the protective order. I wasn't allowed to turn them over before then. And Judge Cannon's like entertaining that stuff. And you recall what Judge Cannon did a few weeks back as well? She continued a Garcia hearing, a conflicts of interest hearing about whether or not Donald Trump's political action committee paid for lawyers who are representing Trump's co-defendants, are conflicted out of the case, or if there should be remedies based on potential conflicts of interest, as they used to represent witnesses who are going to be testifying against co-defendants who they now represent. And then Judge Cannon was like, I'm outraged right now. And the government, you did not provide me with the case law on what to do. Go back and then come back in the courtroom. So the government did that, and they came back in the courtroom, and they had to present, and that caused more delay, and it was just entirely unnecessary. And that's just the kind of stuff she's doing to cause delay. But what she's now allowing are all these other cases to go. So that's why she's not making any definitive orders, and she's creating all of this confusion. And it's intentional, but she's now kind of confused herself and all of the parts. Like, what deadlines? You're staying the deadlines. Why are you setting this hearing November 1? And you may be wondering, Why isn't Jack Smith going to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals yet? Go to the appeals court, Jack Smith. The issue is that because Judge Cannon hasn't really made a substantive ruling, there's nothing to appeal right now. And I think she's doing that on purpose also. She hasn't made a definitive written order that Jack Smith can take to the 11th Circuit and say, look how erroneous she is, overrule her, and maybe even potentially remove her based on the fact that this is the third time you're going to be overruling her 11th Circuit appeal. So I'm with you. We should hopefully get her removed from this case, but it's just premature because she hasn't even issued an appealable order yet. You hear me? That's the main issue right now. So we'll keep on following, but this is not actually bad news. The case before Judge Chutkan that could put Donald Trump away in prison for the rest of his life, that's taking place in March. Okay? Judge Cannon moves this date. Fulton County case can move in there. That would be a very interesting turn of events as well. So we'll keep you posted. We'll let you know more. But make sure you hit subscribe right now on our YouTube channel. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers. And check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. And have a great day.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.